Is Caitlin Clark playing today? Injury update, betting impact for Fever versus Sky. The latest injury update for Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark on Sunday against the Chicago Sky. Indiana Fever superstar guard Caitlin Clark has not played since before the All-Star break, and that trend will continue on Sunday as she's been ruled out with a groin injury against the Chicago Sky. Clark, who missed time earlier this season with a groin issue, aggravated the injury prior to the All-Star break in a game against the Connecticut Sun. Now, the Fever have announced that the star guard does not have a timetable to return, putting her status for the rest of the regular season up in the air. While Clark should return at some point, it's clear that Indiana doesn't want to rush the star guard back. On Sunday, Clark and the Fever are still massive favorites against the Chicago Sky, according to the latest odds at DraftKings Sportsbook. Indiana is set as a 9-point favorite, as the Sky have dropped 4 games in a row, including 2 losses by over 35 points. Chicago has some injury issues of its own on Sunday, as Angel Reese is questionable and Ariel Atkins has been ruled out. The Fever have struggled a bit without Clark this season, winning just 5 of the 12 games that she's missed, but they remain 1 game over .500 for the season and have the 4th best net rating in the WNBA. Hopefully, Clark will be able to return to the lineup at some point later on in the regular season. In 13 games this season, Clark is averaging 16.5 points, 5.0 rebounds, and 8.8 assists per game, while shooting 36.7% from the field and just 27.9% from 3. It's game day in Chicago, and the United Center is buzzing. Fever fans in Navy and Red file in with hopeful hearts, young girls clutching homemade Clark for 3 signs, and the media poised for every detail. But the question on everyone's lips isn't about tip-off, matchups, or playoff standings. It's the same question that's echoed across sports talk shows, Reddit threads, and betting apps all morning. Is Caitlin Clark playing today? The answer, once again, is no. And with that, a storm of implications, on and off the court, unleashes. A star on pause. The Indiana Fever officially ruled out Caitlin Clark earlier this week due to a lingering right groin strain, her 3rd muscle-related injury, in just her rookie season. Fans had hoped for a surprise return, but the franchise was clear: no rushing, no risks, not with their franchise player. Clark, who's averaged 16.5 points, 8.8 assists, and 5.0 rebounds in the 13 games she's played, has missed 4 straight matchups. The team is keeping a tight lid on specifics, citing ongoing evaluations and an indefinite timeline. For Clark, whose every game is broadcast to millions, whose jersey tops every sales chart, and whose presence lifts ticket prices and ratings alike, the bench feels like unfamiliar territory. But for the Fever, it's familiar déjà vu. The court without Clark. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever are a different team. Not worse necessarily, but certainly without their offensive conductor. Guards like Kelsey Mitchell and Erica Wheeler have stepped up, and all-star forward Aaliyah Boston has shouldered a greater offensive load. Still, the tempo slows. The spacing shrinks. The dazzling passes and logo-range threes disappear. On the other side of today's court are the Chicago Sky, young, energetic, hungry for a win. And while their season has been riddled with inconsistency, they always bring extra fire when the Fever come to town, especially when a national spotlight looms. A rivalry without its fire starter. Part of what makes the Clark absence feel heavier today is what's missing in storyline. These Sky Fever clashes have become must-watch television ever since Clark entered the league. The physicality, the hard fouls, the viral moments, the constant chatter between Clark and Chicago's rookie phenom Angel Reese. This matchup had everything: drama, rivalry, even a touch of theater. But today, Angel Reese is questionable with back tightness. Clark is confirmed out. The marquee lights still shine, but the headliners might not. Betting markets react. In Las Vegas and on sports betting apps nationwide, Caitlin Clark's status has drastically impacted today's lines. Before Clark was ruled out, the Fever were slight favorites, hovering around -2.5. The over-under sat at 163.5 points, banking on the offensive spark Clark typically brings. Once news broke that she wouldn't play, the line flipped. The Sky became -1.5 favorites, with the over-under dropping to 159.0. Bettors scrambled to adjust their parlays. Daily fantasy leagues were reshuffled, and player prop bets on Indiana's supporting cast skyrocketed. Oddsmakers weren't shy, Clark's presence alone, they estimate, is worth 3 to 5 points to the spread, a massive swing for a single WNBA player. A city left waiting. In Chicago, the news stung. Tickets for today's game sold out 2 weeks ago, thanks largely to Clark's star power. Resale prices spiked to nearly NBA levels. Fans planned day trips, brought the whole family, wore jerseys, all for a chance to see that girl from Iowa let fly from 35 feet. Now, she's in warm-ups, if at all. Likely courtside in a team hoodie and sweats. Smiling politely. Cheering on teammates. But not dazzling on the hardwood. For some fans, especially first-timers, the disappointment is palpable. But for others, it's still a celebration of women's basketball. Clark or no Clark, they're here for the game. And maybe for that one magical moment when she returns. The bigger picture. Clark's absence is more than a roster hole or a betting shift. It's a reminder of the physical toll this season has taken on her, a historic college career followed by a whirlwind rookie season filled with enormous pressure, physical play, media scrutiny, and non-stop travel. The groin injury isn't just a pause, it's a warning light. The WNBA is brutal, and Caitlin is taking hits like a 10-year vet. Many fans and analysts have called for more protection, better scheduling, and mindful development of the league's brightest young stars. Today, Clark's absence makes that conversation louder. What's next for Clark and the Fever? After today's game in Chicago, the Fever return home for a 3-game stretch. Clark's return remains a week-to-week decision, with coaches emphasizing caution. Privately, sources say she's aiming to return sometime in early August, depending on how her groin responds to treatment and practice load. But nothing is guaranteed. For now, the Fever will rely on their depth, discipline, and a belief that their brightest star will shine again soon. Final word, what we're watching. Though Clark isn't suiting up today, her impact is still everywhere, on the broadcast promos, on the jerseys in the stands, and on the betting boards in Vegas. And maybe that's the truest sign of her superstardom. When the question, is Caitlin Clark playing today, becomes a headline that reshapes a game's meaning, you know you're witnessing something bigger than basketball. So no, Caitlin Clark won't be on the court today. But make no mistake, the game still belongs to her.